Okay, good Erev Shabbos, recording right before Shabbos, and we are sponsored by the Fisher family, Lenishim Basi Bas Rabbi Shalom Ben Avam Alevi Pel Bas Ruvain. We are also sponsored by Lenishim Rab David Ben Rab Chaim, Rab Yaakov Yosef Ben Rab Dov, Lefur Shalem for Yomis Mechai Sarah, and for the schus of Rabbi Yam Ben Ishmael Malch Yudis. We learn, sponsored by Yoel Klugman and family for their Parnasa Gesund and Nachas. We are also learning L'Refuah Shalema for Victor Ayi ben Rivka, for Moshe ben Pesel, for Tzipora bas Malke Etel, and Meir ben Chayesar. They should have a L'Refuah Shalema b'Sei Shacha Yisrael. So the Mishnah says, remember we said if you steal a ox and then sell it or slaughter it, you have to pay 5 times as much. If you steal a sheep and slaughter it and sell it, you have to pay 4 times. Says the Mishnah, Ganav, says the Mishnah, Ganav al Pishnayim, if let's say Chatzkel stole on the testimony of 2 witnesses, V'tavach u'machar al PM, and then he slaughtered and sold by their testimony, slaughtered or sold, or let's say Ruvain and Chaim testified that Chatzkel stole it, and Shimon and Gedalia said that Chatzkel sold it or slaughtered it. Misham Tashlumi Abba V'chamish, he has to pay 4 times for a sheep, 5 times for a shar. Ganav u'machar b'Shabbos, if he stole and sold it on Shabbos. Now remember, if he did a capital crime, then he wouldn't pay financially, because that's kamle v'ramine. When you chayiv forfeit your life, you don't pay financial payment. But here he didn't desecrate the Shabbos, because selling on Shabbos is only asim d'Rabbanan. So if he stole and sold on Shabbos, or ganav v'machal avodah zarah, stole and sold it to avodah zarah, these are also not a capital crime, and therefore he would be chayiv. Notice if he was tavach on Shabbos, or if he was tavach l'avodah zarah, those would have been capital crimes, and then he wouldn't pay. Ganav v'tavach b'Yom Kippurim, if he's stolen, even if he slaughtered on Yom Kippur, slaughtering on Yom Kippur is only an issur kares. There we don't say kamle v'rabinei. Ganav mishal aviv, if he stole it from his father, v'tavach u'machar, he slaughtered it or he sold it, so already now he's chayiv the Daled V'Hei to his father, and then his father died, so he has to pay the estate, the 4 for a sheep, 5 for a ox, except his portion that he inherits, he doesn't have to pay. Ganav v'tavach, if he stole and slaughtered it, so once he stole and slaughtered it, he's chayiv to pay the Daled V'Hei to the owner, and then afterwards he dedicated it. Misham Tashlumi Abba V'chamish. In all these cases, he has to pay 4 times for a sheep, 5 times for an ox. Ganav v'tavach l'refuah, if he stole and slaughtered it for medicinal purposes, not to eat it, or to give it to his dogs, or ha'sheichet b'nimtzis treifa, or if he shechts it and finds that it's a treifa, so he won't be able to eat it, or ha'sheichet chulin ba'azara, if he shechts it chulin in the temple courtyard, which becomes disqualified, still, since he stole and slaughtered, Misham Tashlum Ya'ava V'chamisha. Reb Shimon poite b'shnei elu. Reb Shimon exempts from Daled V'Hei, he would have to pay kefil, but not Daled V'Hei in the last 2 cases where he shechted it and found it was treifa, or he shechted it and it was chulin nazar, because such shchita is a shchita she'ein ruya. It doesn't make it mutter to eat, and shchita she'ein ruya lo yishmei shchita. Now, Mishnah Gimel tells us, Ganav al Pishnayim. Let's say Chatzkel stole by the testimony of Ruvain and Chaim. V'tavach u'machar al piyam, and then he slaughtered or sold it by their testimony. But you see, Ruvain and Chaim said he stole it and slaughtered it or sold it in Borough Park on Rosh Chodesh Adar. However, 2 other witnesses come and say, they say he couldn't have, Reuben and Chaim couldn't have saw that because they were with us in Dubai on Rosh Chodesh Adar. So they're Eidim Zaymimim, Mishalm and Makol. We know that the din of Eidim Zaymimim is that they have to pay what they plotted to do to Chatzkel. So they plotted to make Chatzkel pay 4 times for a sheep or 5 times for a shar. That's what they have to give Chatzkel. Ganav al pi shnayim, if Chatzkel stole by the testimony of Reuven and Chaim, v'tovach u'macher al pi shnayim acherim, and he then slaughtered and sold it by the testimony of Gedaliah and Gad, two gimels, Gedaliah and Gad. If Elu ve'elu nimtzu zaymimim, if it turns out that Reuven and Chaim and Gedaliah and Gad were found to be Eidim Zaymimim, because both of them were on a cruise to Acapulco on the time that they said this took place in Borough Park. So Reuven and Chaim tried to deprive Chatzkel of Kefil, and Gedaliah and Gad tried to deprive Chatzkel of the rest of his stuff. Harishayim Mishalm Tashlmei Kefil. The first ones, Reuven and Chaim have to have to pay to Chatzkel the double payment. If it's an axe, so Gedaliah and Gad have to pay for the three that they wanted to be mechayiv by saying that he was tabach v'macher. If only Gedaliah and Gad were proven to be zaymim. So therefore Reuven and Chaim's testimony that Chatzkel stole it still is upheld. So Chatzkel has to pay kefil, while Gedaliah and Gad have to pay to Chatzkel the three. Whom Misham Tashlmei Kefil, he pays from the one that he stole it from Kefil. The Hey Misham Tashlmei Shloisha, and Gedaliah and Gad have to pay him the three. If Echad Mino Achroinim Zaymim, if Gedaliah and Gad's testimony falls apart, because it turns out that Gad was in Dubai, so Botlei the Shnia, there's no payment of kasher zamam because they both weren't found to be zaymimim. But on the other hand, the testimony falls to the wayside because now there's only one witness, and therefore Chatzkel has to pay the one who he stole from Kefil, but not the dollar v'hei. Echad minori shainim zaymim. If either Reuven or Chaim was in Dubai, so now there's no testimony that Chatzkel stole it. Without testimony that Chatzkel stole it, even if he slaughtered or sold it, it's nothing, because maybe he slaughtered and sold what was his. So Butler Kalaidis, the whole testimony falls by the wayside. She'im ain't Geneva, because if there's no testimony about theft, ain't Tvicha ben Mechira, there is no liability with testifying that he slaughtered and sold it, because maybe he slaughtered and sold that which was his. We want to thank you, Rabbi. So remind you that Motzei Shabbos, the Daf Yomi is at 9:40. We also want to remind you that next week the Daf Yomi is still 8:15, due to the fact that I'll probably have to travel extra to get a Mincha and Maariv, so I want to leave myself a little buffer. We are looking actively. We do not have a single sponsor for Shoftim, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful Shabbos.